And we are back. Did you miss me? I hope you did. I mean, we're doing show after show here, and I can't tell you how pleased I am to be here with the family here at CTV. They couldn't treat me better. They're giving me an outlet. I'm getting to you people, my friends, and everybody out there I do consider friends. You're taking the time to watch me. If I'm making you happy, you're tapping your feet, you like the guests I have, I'm doing my job and I'm happy. And do I have a guest for you tonight? I have not only a guest, he's a friend. I met him about 10 years ago performing at West Hampton and met him then, and it was just like electric. That happens with friendships sometimes. You know, you'll meet somebody and there's just certain things you like about people. I want to introduce you right now. We'll get into him, but I want to introduce you to Robert Samson. Robert, how are you?
George.
Look at that. I'm telling you, you came loaded for bear. Let me tell you.
George, first off, I want to thank you and Diane, your producer, Rosemarie, your director, Terry, the sound man, all the camera crew. I want to thank everybody for allowing me on this show. Hopefully I don't break your cameras.
and you know, he's the guy, he could do it. We're going to get into that now. You know, first off, 10 years I know you. And it's been that, you know, from performing out in the Hamptons and meeting you and meeting the people around you, it just turned out to be a friendship. First, Facebook, you hit me back and forth. But you have a very interesting story. And that's why I wanted you here tonight, because you're like a jewel. Multifaceted. See, he's a jeweler too, so I knew what to do. I got right in there and got right to the crux of it. But yeah, there's so many things. You know, let's start with what you are and what you're doing now, and let's go back into your story, because that's what I want to hear. Tell me.
All right. Well, first of all, George and I connected at the entertainment level, because it's not easy to do live shows. There's no take one, take two, take three.
Yeah, you're there. You're there.
And that's right. And I saw the talent, and I saw the sweat and the work, and I really could appreciate this man and the work, the good work that he does. His great voice. Thank you. Very talented. And I felt like after the show, I got to connect with George on that entertainment level. Not internet level, entertainment level.
Well, that one too. You got to me on Facebook. I saw you on YouTube.
We connected. That's right.
I saw you.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, I used to do my trade in the squared circle. Right now, George wants to go backwards. So as we speak, I am a fine jewelry manufacturer, and I'm also making a reality TV show. Right. As we speak.
Which is there something you could talk about? It's got to stay under wraps until it comes out, or because I don't want to step on anything, but I want people to know about you.
Okay, yeah, I can do a couple little teasers. The name of the show is Revenue Hackers. I want to thank the producer Tad Blackshear, co-producer Aaron Nekteloff, who's also co-starring with me in this series. I also have my better half, Princess Sherry Klein, as well, and my sugar plum girl, my daughter, Rochelle Samson, who's also going to be in my reality. It's a reality TV show, and that's my reality. And I'm so thankful for the producers of the show to put the whole, we say mishpacha.
I like that.
To put the family. Hey, that's right. A little Yiddish there, okay? Right. A little Yiddish.
And you people thought this was always going to be Italian all the time. Oh, no. We're going to hit everybody.
Italian, Jews, they were all the same, right?
We are. Growing up, what was it? It was the Italian and the Jewish mothers. And what happened was they both feed you and they both kick your tail if you did something wrong, and then send you home.
That's right. You know, strudel, pasta, what's the difference?
It all goes down and it's all good.
Exactly. So, do you want to know a little bit about the show? Is that
Yeah,
what you...
let me start with a little bit with the show, because I got so much. I got like 20, 25 minutes to talk. I want it all out.
Okay.
Because you'll be back, and I think something I might be cross-pollinating with you on your show, too.
That's right. We're actually going to have George on our show as well. So a little teaser. The show is about business consulting. And I meet a business consultant or a business advisor, and when I meet the guy, he's like he looks like a used car salesman, okay? I'm going, oh, this guy's going to empty out my pockets and run. That's what's going to happen. And you could say I was skeptical, which would be an understatement. But it ends up going in a path that is just unbelievable. I can't really go beyond that. I don't want to spoil the whole show and tell you everything, but I can say that it's going to be fun. It's going to be informative, entertaining. At least I think so.
Yeah, well, hey, if I'm going to be on one of them, it's got to be entertaining.
We can only hope it's entertaining. Right? It doesn't really matter what I think.
Right.
It matters what everybody else thinks.
And I'm telling you, the people out there, they want to be entertained. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if we're entertaining them, they're happy, and we're happy to do it. So that's
right.
Our audience.
That's right. And so, but the most important thing about the show, because it is important to entertain people, but we feel we're going to help a lot of people. We're going to teach business owners how to improve their businesses. We're going to also be able to make other people's dreams come true, as far as if they want to get a business going, this type of thing. So we really feel there's going to be a lot of mitzvot, a lot of mitzvah, a lot of
I know that one too.
a lot of goodwill with the show.
Right. Well, yeah, that's good, because that's what we've been through. COVID, this, that, wildfires. People want to be happy. People want their minds to go someplace comfortable. And that's what this show, That's Life, is for. And having people like you here and the guests that I've had in the past, we're here to smile. We're here to have fun. We're here to take you away from your problems, even if it's for an hour. Just have a light heart. And that's what it is. But, you're doing the show, but you're an accomplished jeweler, too. I'm looking at that stuff that's on you. Man, you better never fall in the water. You're going to drown. Why don't you talk a little bit about that, what you do?
The jewelry. Okay. To me, acting and entertainment, that's art. I like to design jewelry as well. That's also art. And I brought a picture of a piece.
You want to show this now?
I could. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show this now, and if we can get this out there so everybody can see it, and Robert's going to explain it. Everybody get a good look. Get a good look. Okay. Now, Robert, explain what this is, because I know it's got a story, and you've told me the story, so tell them.
Okay. So, the jewelry business is generally a happy business. You give jewelry on a happy occasion. Generally, birthdays, anniversaries, bat mitzvahs, weddings, just because you love, Valentine's Day. It's always something upbeat and positive, happy. And I started in the business many years ago, even before the wrestling. I actually left the jewelry business because I got a real job, a real acting job.
Right.
Most of the time that's hard to do.
Yeah, very hard to do.
So I was doing little acting jobs here and there, and then finally I got booked in the Squared Circle.
Right.
To do theatrical stunt work. That's what I call pro wrestling.
And we're going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
After we get through the jewelry.
Yeah.
Because the man, multifaceted, like I'm saying, multifaceted. There it is again. Go ahead.
That's right. So I made a lot of jewelry back then, prior to.
We'll show it again.
And then I've gotten back into the manufacturing about 7 years ago. And so I've made a lot of custom pieces in my life, but I think this piece, no, I don't think, I know this piece is probably the most special and most sentimentally meaningful piece that I've ever made since I have been manufacturing fine jewelry.
And why is that? That was a good question, right?
Yeah. That's the $1 million question. This piece here, my customer lost his son at 39 years old, and I don't even know if I could say this without tearing up. Oh man, it gets me every time I think about it. But he wanted to have something to. Man, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, take your time.
He wanted to get something to remember his son, and keep it close to his heart. And so
that's a tough thing.
Yeah,
That's a tough thing.
I'm getting all choked up anytime I even talk about this. Now these letters. This is his son's Hebrew name, and there's a message on the back. And he doesn't take it off. He keeps it, on a necklace right here. So it was very, very touching to have the opportunity to make this for this particular customer. And this is the first time that I made a piece of jewelry that wasn't for a happy occasion.
Right. And yeah, you're right. You never hear of it being for a sad occasion.
I mean, right? You don't really,
No.
you think about it. Think about, when you're giving jewelry. It's,
right. It's a joyous occasion.
It's always a joyous occasion.
Yes.
And so anyway, so I just thought I would share that.
That's wild. That's a piece of, and you do everything. You go concept from a person. You do the artwork. You render it. You make the wax
I need a
molds.
tissue.
I'm sorry, I don't have that here today.
That's okay.
But
I'll get through it.
You render it. You make it from scratch until completion. Because I'm looking at what you're wearing. Those are all your chain links are the Star David.
That's
and
right.
Every link is the Star David.
And we're the only ones that make this. This is
I've never seen anything like that before.
This is exclusive.
Right. Now, the other thing, your dumbbells. Now, I didn't call you the dumbbells. I don't want to get in trouble. He'll break my head. No. Tell me about this, because I found that out just before, and that'll take us into the squared circle.
That's right. Well, the wrestling career, basically I saw the writing on the wall. I didn't think I could stick with that for 20 or 30 years. I saw wrestlers getting banged up, dying young, getting on painkillers, and I had to find another avenue.
Yes.
So I got into the gym business, and I owned gyms for many, many years. So this is, I'm a gym rat. Yes, I am. And so these are all dumbbells going around.
That's cool.
And this is, and nobody else is doing this either. This is a barbell going to a Star David. Just unique pieces. So we'll make anything and everything except we won't do profanity.
Right.
We won't do things that are hurtful.
No, of course.
We're
human beings. We shouldn't have to do stuff like that.
There's people that want things that represent just negative parts of our society and or negative parts of history,
right.
And they want to bring it back. And they can go to a different jeweler for that.
Yeah.
And no profanity. Some people want the middle finger done and all. We won't do anything like that.
That's not for gold and to be immortalized. Not like that. I do agree with you, and I don't agree with having it gone that way. But now it's going to take me into something else. We spoke about the dumbbells. We spoke about the jewelry. Your TV show. Now something that I feel is close to me. We talked about wrestling. Now, you've been in wrestling. In a minute, I'm going to ask you where you started, where you came from, but I do want to put the biggest disclaimer in the world. When people say, it's fake. I have been a stuntman for 10 years in the 80s, and I can tell you, by watching wrestling and wrestlers, they are the best stuntmen I've ever seen in my life. And even goes over stuntmen. They're physical. They're athletes. How many people do you know that could go to the top rope, stand on a turnbuckle, do a backflip onto a table on the pavement, and walk away? Again.
And then people have the audacity to say it's fake.
Yeah.
Or at least ask me.
I mean, well, that's just it. Because, I mean, you've seen it. I mean, you know days of Bruno Sammartino, and I know you could tell me something about that. And the older days of wrestling when, like the Chief, Jay Strong, they're cutting their forehead with something. But even though, you stop and think about that, they're cutting themselves. They're cutting themselves for an effect. They're putting their body through something else.
Do you want me to admit it? Do you want me to admit that?
No, I don't want you to admit it. I'm just saying it was to bring an effect. It was to show what it is. But the strength, the stamina, the physicality of a wrestler today, a human being could not stand that if they weren't set to do what they were doing and how they do it. Now you tell me about it, because again, I was a stuntman. I've jumped out of buildings. I've put cars into rivers. I've burnt myself, 10 feet over my head, and I fought. And my stage fighting or live fighting could be somewhat close to your wrestling. So why don't you explain that?
Well, first of all, I'm going to take my hat off to you because I think your stunts were a lot harder than mine.
Oh, I don't think so, because you got beat up a lot. I was able to fall the right way and take a punch that I didn't take the punch, but you're taking them. They're making contact with you.
Well, yeah, the thing is this. There's the art of pro wrestling. And it's like I mentioned earlier.
What was your name? What did you wrestle under before?
Robbie Samson, the Power. My partner was the Fear. When we did tag teaming, we were the Miami New Breed.
Oh wow, cool.
And yeah, we came out of Miami. We back then Don Johnson was very popular, and we wore Don Johnson jackets with the sleeves cut off. They were white jackets. We had pink and turquoise tights.
Oh, do you want? We probably crossed paths because I did 12 Miami Vices as a stuntman.
Oh no, I worked on Miami Vice also. I did spots on Miami Vice as
there
well
you go.
back then.
See how the world goes like
brought
this
us
all
right
the
back
time?
together.
Yes, that is wild.
Just to continue the attire, we had pink wrestling boots, knee high, with a. I never smoked pot, but we had. You just
the paraphernalia for it. This is a show.
So
that's right.
We were the bad guys, which in the business
we
call
the heel.
Correct.
Yeah, you were the heel.
So we had marijuana plants in turquoise coming up our pink boots on both sides, and we would go into the ring and take each other's clothes off. We had bow ties. We would very nicely take our our little armbands off, our bow ties off, and we were in the Mid-South, and they were booing us. They they just thought we were drug dealers, and we should go back to Miami.
Yeah, Mid-South kind of likes to stay where they are.
It was a lot of fun getting people to hate us. I could tell you a story that was very mean, but when you're wrestling, you have to see the difference between the stuntman and the wrestler. You're not. You don't have to be the actor as well.
Right.
You're just a stuntman.
Right. That's it.
So the wrestler has to be the actor and the stuntman.
That's right.
And you have
because you're always on.
You have to stay in character.
Right.
So what I'm about to say is, I hope nobody hates me for this, because I was only in character when I was doing this, because this is the type of things heels do.
Right.
So my partner and I are coming out of the ring. This is horrible. This is horrible.
Well,
but it's funny now.
Yeah.
But it's horrible at the time, because I had no choice. I had to stay in character and do what was expected of me.
Right.
So this mom sends her little boy with a pencil and a piece of paper to get autographs.
Right.
And the poor,
you were a meanie?
The poor kid comes up to me and asks me for my autograph, and I'm still on camera. I'm still in character. I'm still within. It's not like I'm at a 7-Eleven signing an autograph. I'm still within the venue of the pro wrestling arena.
Right.
And I said, "Sure, kid." I took the pencil and the paper. I broke the pencil, threw it down, crumbled up the paper, threw it down, and kept walking.
Boy, you'd have pissed me off if you did that.
I couldn't even sleep that night. I felt so bad. The kids started crying. It was horrible. But if I didn't do that, I would have gotten a lot of trouble.
That's right, because you have a contract, and your contract is you have to do what you're told to do.
You have to do. We weren't the good guys. We were the heels. We were the bad guys.
Yeah.
We were the guys that people would come. If we got people up and booing at us, that was our job.
That's right. And you're supposed to make the good guys look even better.
That's right.
And every now and again they'd lose the title, but again, no matter what the storyline is, I mean, to pick a guy up that size, or even a guy your size, and pick him up over your head and throw him, that ain't no easy task. I'd wind up underneath the ring if that happened to me.
Well, you're right. But just like you have tricks of the trade,
right,
and we have tricks of the trade, magicians have tricks of the trade.
Right.
So, and by the way, just for the record, I did get to, later on in the career, I did get to play the part of the babyface.
Oh,
so
cool.
I didn't have to be mean the whole time.
Oh, all right. So then you did get, and you told me when we were talking before that you worked along or with Roddy Piper?
Well, I was on the card.
Right, okay.
I've been on the card with that guy, Mr. Wonderful, Roddy Piper, Jake the Snake, Hogan, back in the, yes. I worked for a guy named Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler, that's who I was thinking
the king of wrestling.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard of Jerry
Lawler.
Oh,
yeah. What he did to Andy Kaufman.
Nobody's going to forget that.
Nobody will ever, because it was so, let me tell you, Andy Kaufman, again, if you have a heel and you have a baby face.
There you go.
And Andy Kaufman was playing the heel. But the slap that was heard around the world, come on. I mean, you felt sorry because you said, what is he doing? I mean, and he really whacked him. You heard it into next week.
What's that expression? Be careful what you wish for. That's what he wanted. Hey, and Jerry Lawler gave him that receipt.
Oh, yes, he did. In spades, he gave him that receipt. But, it's just so much. And, again, we've crossed our paths. You do the jewelry. You've done the wrestling. What is the most memorable thing in your wrestling career? The thing that, was the biggest thing that you thought, wow. Well, who did you fight?
I'm laughing because right away that sparks a memory. Not a good one, but a memorable one. Because you said the most memorable.
Right, memorable.
Most memorable.
Wait a minute, am I safe still? No.
I think that's what you said.
Yes, I did. Most memorable.
Okay, so here you go. So everybody's heard of Haystacks Calhoun.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you remember that guy?
Yes.
Well, I wrestled against his son because Haystacks was before my time.
Right.
So his son was Haystacks Calhoun Jr.
Okay.
Bigger than his dad.
Really?
Haystacks Calhoun was this, about 400 pounds, and his son probably was 500. They were just gigantic, big guys, hillbilly character. And I can still smell that underarm. Headlock. Oh. My head was in his underarm. It never went away. It's
the gift that kept giving.
It's decades later.
And you still smell it.
And I still smell that underarm.
I think he put a curse on you is what I think. He gave you the underarm curse.
So when you want to say memorable moments, there it is right there.
Well, and from what I understand, you were, there's so many other things. I mean, you're from Miami, but you're also from Brooklyn. Why don't we talk about that? Because, then you go from that back to jewelry, and the jewelry into the wrestling, and the wrestling back to jewelry, and not television. Tell me where it started for you in Miami and what happens up in Brooklyn.
I'm going to do that, and if you want to, we can go back. There is a funny story about the wrestling, too, so if you want to go back.
Hey,
about the fake thing.
We can do anything you want. You're bigger than me.
Smart guy.
Did you see that? I don't
So, no, if you want to circle back, I have a funny story about the wrestling. But about the Brooklyn thing, I figure this is a New York show. So,
look at that.
We got to give it, Brooklyn right there.
Yes.
Brooklyn, New York. Okay.
Diane would be very happy with that shirt.
Exactly. So, not me, though. I am a Miami boy, not a Brooklyn boy, Miami boy. But here's the connection. My father was from Brooklyn.
Right.
Okay? And he used to bring us up every summer. He even brought us to the Catskills so we could experience what New Yorkers do in the summer.
Right.
To go to the Catskills.
Yeah, what New Yorkers do in the summer, they go upstate.
They go upstate. They go upstate where it's, I guess, cooler up there, right?
Yep.
So we really connected with Brooklyn. I got to know it very well.
Right.
Of course, we rode the Cyclone, and we had the.
So you remember the Thunderbolt and the Tornado too? You rode all three of them, right?
I don't remember that because it was just childhood stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember that. But I do remember the Nathan fries.
Oh yeah.
You can't be from Brooklyn without having those fries.
Nope. You have
at
to have Nathan
Coney
Fry,
Island.
You have to have L&B pizza.
Junior's cheesecake.
Junior's cheesecake.
Okay.
You see, and every now and again you sneak over the bridge and get the cats on Houston, and then you've covered the gambit.
Yeah, Pop would bring us to Manhattan for Chinese breakfast and all that.
Yeah.
So he really
pork rolls and stuff like that for breakfast. Oh no, I'm sorry. What am I saying? Why didn't you just throw me out and slap me one time? I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. They have chicken.
Yeah, chicken rolls.
I don't think it's kosher though, but that's okay. So there are a couple of funny stories about Brooklyn. One of them was he brought us up, and New Yorkers. Remember, I'm from Miami, so
right.
my how can I say, the way I see a New Yorker is that it takes a lot to move a New Yorker. Right. New Yorkers like to kind of stay to themselves, and you really can't surprise a New Yorker. It's basically New Yorkers have seen it all.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're saying. They're fast. They're very fast.
You're right. So generally, they want to just mind their own business and tend to whatever they need to tend to. And, it's not like saying hi to everybody in the street. There's like 10 million people in the street. How can you do that? Right. So New Yorkers, like you say, they're just going, and they're not really paying attention to anything.
No,
they're just
It's
focused on what they need to do.
Focus driven. That's right. Focus driven.
Right. So we're in a subway. My dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, and I, we were young kids. And we were getting ready to get to our stop. And my father, the way the seating was, we were a little separated because there's other people in the subway. And there was a guy, my mother was across from me, my father was next to me. There was a guy next to my mom reading a newspaper, behind a newspaper. Right. My mother was right next to him, and he was reading a newspaper on the subway. Back then, we read newspapers.
Yes, I'm telling you. I remember that myself. I remember you looked at the cartoon, you looked for the little man and the dog in the cartoon on page 3 or whatever that was.
Exactly, yeah. So we're getting ready to get to the exit, or the train station, the station that we needed to get off. So my mother stands up to get ready to get off at the next station.
Right.
Her pants zipper broke.
Oh man.
And her pants went right to her ankles. She screamed, bloody murder. My dad from Brooklyn, he always carried a camera on him.
Right.
No matter what. Even back home in Miami, he'd carry a camera on him. He was an accountant, but he liked
take pictures.
Yeah, he was a photographer.
He was a photographer.
Exactly. So my mother screams, like her pants are down. You can see like her underwear. And my dad.
This was back in the 50s?
This is not. No, I'm not that old.
Oh, I'm sorry. 60s, 70s.
Let's not even go there. Let's let them use their imagination.
Right,
It goes. There was newspapers.
I'm digging my hole deeper. I really am. First the pork and then the age.
He wants me to show him a body slam, maybe an atomic elbow or something.
I'm telling you.
So my dad takes a picture of my mom, like with her britches at the bottom of at her ankles. The guy never moved. He never stopped reading his paper. He was like, he just never even looked to see what was going on. Now, my mother was like right next to him, screaming that she just lost her pants. My dad takes the and you can see the guy with the newspaper. And so that was a very funny story, and really give me a perspective on New Yorkers, on how they really just don't care, okay.
They ain't taking my money. I ain't on fire. I don't care.
That's what so anyway, that's one story. Another story, we had you get a winter break when you're in school, in grade school, 3 weeks off. So my dad was taking us to Brooklyn every summer.
Right.
But one year he says, kids, you've never seen snow. I'm going to take you to Brooklyn in the winter. Yeah. And we were excited. We grew up in the tropics.
Right, yeah.
Our winters are, if it goes below 70, we're putting jackets on.
Yeah, that's it. Blood is thin.
That's our winter. I mean, once in a while, we'll get a little cool spell. So we go up there, and by the way, my mother was from Cuba. So
wow.
She's and I'm one generation. I always say I'm one generation American. Right. My mother was from Cuba, and my father was from another country called Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah, that's it. That's a country.
So there
I
you
ain't
go.
gonna mess with them people.
So he brings us up there, and my brother and sister and I and my mom, we're like warm weathered people.
Right.
And I was born in July, and I enjoyed warm weather.
Yeah.
In Miami, born in July So we get up there, and it's cold. I mean, cold. I don't even think it hit 20. We were up in this area, in Connecticut, Brooklyn, back and forth. We had family, in Queens and all. We had a 3-week break. After the first week, my mother, my brother, my sister, myself, we were begging my father to bring us home.
Yeah, I can't go there no more. I can't do that.
Dad, we've had enough. We're good. We're good.
We're good. I seen enough of snow. I felt enough of cold. I'm going home. Take the sweaters and turn the heat up.
So we actually stayed the whole time. He tortured us, and we actually defrosted as we were going back to South Florida.
Wow.
So
I think believe it or not, I think we're getting close. Give me a couple of nuggets.
I wanted to go back real quick to the wrestling.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, because we mentioned about being fake.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a couple years where I was a teacher, believe it or not, and amongst everything else, I taught.
A teacher too.
I was
a jeweler, a teacher, a wrestler.
Yep.
You're worse than me. I thought I did a lot of stuff.
I had it on my bucket list to teach. I wanted to teach. I taught at Blanche Lee High School in Deerfield Beach, Florida, for 3 years. Until I got back into the gym business. But anyway, so I was a support facilitator one year where I would go into a classroom looking for a student that might be, have a little trouble with whatever, just to check on them, see if they're doing okay. And I'd pull the student out and, make sure everything was good. Right. So I walk into this one classroom, full class, about 25, 30 students, high school. And one of the students says, hey, are you Mr. Samson that you used to wrestle or something? And I looked at the teacher because I wasn't supposed to interrupt the class.
Right.
And I looked at her. She goes, sure, go ahead. So the teacher, allowed me to, speak to the class. It was supposed to just be a quiet thing. Get the student out, check him. So I said, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. And so another student, she, in the back of the class, she raises her hand. I'm like, yeah. I said, is that okay? I was asking the teacher permission. I'm taking over her class.
Right.
Yeah. And she's like, fine, I got plenty of work to do.
Yeah.
So I said, sure, what's your question? And this young lady says, is wrestling fake?
Not the right thing to say.
So I said, funny you should ask that question. Why don't you come up here?
And your body slammed right through the chalkboard.
And she's like, yeah, come on up. So she comes up to the front of the classroom. I got to stand up for this. So I explained to the student and the rest of the class that I really want you to understand about wrestling. He asked me a question, is it fake? I said, so I just want to make sure you're very, very loose and very relaxed. And I said, you know, are you? Are you good? She goes, yeah, Mr. Samson, I'm good. So I said, that's great. I snatched her up in the front of the class like this. Her head's here, her legs are there, and the legs are going everywhere like this. Ah, put me down, put me down. And I'm walking around the front of the class, holding her up like this.
Right.
And after,
it wasn't too fake then, was it?
Yeah, she's screaming bloody murder. After I put her down, I said, now, you answer the question. Is wrestling fake? Oh, no, Mr. Samson, it's not fake.
Sometimes you have to show. Well, Robert, I got to tell you, this was a treat. Did you enjoy being here?
Oh, this was a blast.
I believe it's over already. We just started. And I had other questions to ask, and but you know, this ain't the last time. Something brought us together. We're going to be going down the road. I think we're going to be doing a few more things. What do you think?
Hey, this was a blast.
It was a pleasure, and this ain't going to be the last time. What do you say? Thank you for coming back, and
boom.
I like it.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you for being out there tonight, and I'm glad you were here. My name is George Pettignano, and that's life. Thank you.